Hello my friends. In this video we're gonna create the counter application. So we'll start by designing the layout, then declaring the views, then adding functionalities, and later on running and testing. So as usual, we'll start by creating the layout and designing the layout using the layout editor in Android Studio. Then we declare the views that we've created in the XML, then adding the functionalities, handling events, creating functions, and handling click events, and running and testing later on. So let's jump into Android Studio and start building this amazing app. So I've created this empty project, empty activity also. And let's start building the layout. So I will go to the split mode and I will start designing the layout here. I will start by copying this wallpaper called gradient_wall, and I will move it to the drawable folder. Okay, these two wallpapers are from, and the PNGs are from the previous videos, but don't worry, we've created the gradient_wall. So I will use the background attribute here inside the constraint layout in order to specify the wallpaper gradient_wall and set it as a background. You can see that we've changed the background of this layout. And inside this layout, I will create two widgets. The text view. This is a text view that will wrap content. The ID would be counter text view or counter text. Its size would be 30 or 48. I prefer using 48 SP. The text would be, let me show you. Hey, you can see that this is the text here. I can infer the constraints. I click on this infer constraint button in order to add this constraint directly. Okay, and you can use these attributes for the constraint layout. Okay, this is the text. Okay, I will remove the text because I don't need to, or I can put the 0. 0 is good. I will change it to 72. It's bigger because we are displaying only numbers. Now I will create the button. Wrap content. The ID would be btn and the text would be click me text. I can drag and drop it under the 0. I will click on infer constraint. This is the button. You can see that the Android Studio is smart enough to add the constraint for the upper bound of this button under the 0 bound, and the left and right constraints, you can see it obviously. Okay, the ID is provided. I can go down like this. Also, I can increase the size of this text, but I will create now another text view in order to say welcome to the counter application. I will give it as welcome_text, and the text would be welcome to counter application or the counter application. Okay, you can see it here. I will drag and drop it here to here. I move it by this and I will click on infer constraints and I will click on control, and this is the red red line and the red circle, I will click it in order to delete this constraint. And then I will add the constraint to this and move it down. Okay? You can also see the code if you prefer writing the code in the XML. Okay? So this is the code of this layout. I will increase the size of this text view a little bit in order to display it well. Okay, the counter application. The second step is declaring the widgets. So I will start by text view, the welcome text, and the counter text. I can create multiple text views by separating them in a comma. Alt plus enter to import the package and the class of the text view. And here I need the button instance called btn. Alt plus enter to import the package of and the class of the button. And now in the third step, let's instantiate these widgets. So btn equal to find view by id r.id.btn. Then I need to instantiate the text view. The first text view is the counter equal find view by id r.id.counter text view, and the welcome text equal find view by id r.id.welcome text. Now let's add the functionality. This is the step number 3. Okay, adding the functionalities. The functionalities would be a new function that I would create. So in this video, I'm going to change some ordinary topics, and we will use the functions. Okay, so please pay attention. btn.set onClick listener new on view onClick listener, and when the user click on this button, I need to call the function called increase counter. Okay, so outside the onCreate method, if I click on this curly braces, it will give me this. So this is the end of the curly braces of the onCreate method. And now I will create a new method called public void increase counter. Okay, so this increase counter will increase the counter variable that I will create by 1. So counter equal to 0. Okay, and here increase counter, and I will pre-increment of this counter, because when the user click it, I need to add 1 to the variable, then display this variable. Okay, I need to return this counter, so return count plus counter. Okay, so I need the variable to be returning here of type integer, because the counter is an integer. So the onClick method here, I need to get the text counter text. So counter text dot set onClick set text. I need to set the text. This is the empty string, because when using the numbers, it's good to use the empty strings at first and empty quote, double quotes. And I will call the function increase counter. Okay, so whenever the counter when the counter is 0. When the user click on this button, it will call the function increase the counter. It will add the counter by 1 and return its value to be displayed in this text. Let's run this application and see the magic. And here we go. This is our application. This is the counter application. If I click on this button, the text will be increased. And this is the counter application we have created. And this is a very good example on how to add and handle the click events of the